Hello and welcome to this AM Supplier Insight hosted by me, Tim Rose, the editor of Automotive Management. I'm joined today by John Hogan, Chief Executive of RWA Automotive, and Liz Purcell, its Head of Customer Success. RWA Automotive was developed in 2020 to provide business intelligence solutions to motor retailers across Ireland and the UK. And I've got a few questions ready to draw out our experts' insights on some of the topics very relevant to dealerships' future success. So, John, coming to you first. Last year has its fair share of challenges and opportunities for motor retailers. Do you see 2025 being particularly different?
Tim, I think just probably more of the same, to be honest. So last year we had the cost of living challenges, we had the used car supply challenges, we had that electric mandate, which was like affecting or distorting the sale of new cars. Then there was quite a lot of drama around F&I and Gap as well, and so quite a few of them will continue. Like on the plus side, like the used car market was very benign from a valuation point of view, and so dealers actually made good money on used cars last year. And I think there also was a realization that they need to do more about after sales. So when times get harder, after sales really comes more to the fore. So I think that was kind of the main highlights for last year. So then for 2025, I think it's like the same again. But then everybody got a bit of a surprise in the budget, at the end of October. And basically, so staff costs went way up, and like that cost our customers between £500,000 to £2.5 million each, straight off the bottom line. So basically, finding savings to like address that, but ultimately growing the gross margin line really is what it's about. And in terms of new cars as well, I guess like the OEMs, the traditional OEMs now are looking at maybe more declining volumes. And so that's like an issue. So, what Chinese car brands do they go for to balance out their stock or their range? And I guess then with Chinese brands as well, without a fully functioning used market and after sales market, it's going to be hard to make money out of them in the short term. So there's plenty of challenges. Then I guess on top of that, then you've got the whole IT thing. So you've got like a lot of chat about AI last year, and we see some good use cases. We see a huge amount of hype as well. And I guess like, a lot of people might have thought originally the DMS was going to do all this stuff for them. But in reality, people typically have showroom systems or VHC applications sitting on top of their dealer system. You've got the digital journey that's all on a separate system as well. So there is a lot of fragmented data out there, and that's become a real challenge for people. So maybe the top 5 address that with management information systems, like probably 5-10 years ago, and basically so they would drive consistent performance. But now really that's the kind of performance that everybody else needs to be doing. And so a lot of data challenges, but a real need to turn that information into actionable insights.
Absolutely. Well, that coming to you, Liz, the industry does seem to have more data than it ever has before, but often dealers are telling me it's hard to find the trends and issues that they need to tap into. What can dealerships do about that?
Yeah, well, finding the trend really comes easily once you've got a handle on tracking the data. That's the tricky part, which dealer groups look to us to provide the solution for. The challenge lies not just in the data, it's the number of different sources. John alluded earlier to VHC and other applications around. Most management information comes directly from dealer management systems. It's trusted and it's relied upon, but it's all about what's already happened. And whether that's pulled weekly, monthly, discussed quarterly, it's all after the event. And due to the joining up of the data with other systems, key information often is absent from these kind of high-level discussions with key decision makers. Forecasting is done at touch points during the month, For all too often, when it comes to accounts, possibly a week or two into the following month, it could very often show a different to what has been forecasted at 30 days. Very often they're pulled, the accounts department pull these data sources, very manual, often a heavy reliance on Excel spreadsheets, linking to one another with lookups and tables behind, but a lot of raw data into manually driven spreadsheets, which makes it really heavy and clunky. There's only a few people within a dealership that have that level of skill that can handle that. From a sales perspective, DMS may well be different in the showroom systems, and likewise with VHC for after sales. Two key supplementary systems within dealerships that very often don't join into the DMS. There may be a gut feeling that something might be happening, but getting access to the data sometimes takes reporting specialist skills. Often lands at the feet of the accounts department, and very ad hoc, which also often means that data becomes quickly out of date and historic trends get missed, and the end goal loses traction. It's by the tracking of the data that you get the trend, and at its core, our reporting system is built around what we call an AOE report, and actuals and opportunities, and an exceptions report. So you can change and challenge and influence the end results by bite-sized pieces of information that you've got in front of you today.
I think maybe, Tim, an interesting kind of insight as well, maybe just to add to that, is I come from a general retail background, and like running a dealership or a dealer group is like extremely complicated at the best of times. You've got like a certain dynamic going on with new cars, you've loads of stuff going on there. Then you've got used cars, that's like entirely different type of retailing. Then you got parts retailing, then you've got service retailing. And basically, they're all four different things. And then on top of that, you've like a big custom CRM database as well. And basically, you've like all the digital stuff. So like you have a huge number of things to like be on top of and kind of deliver consistently. And so what we find is that you need all the information, pull it all together. But at the end of the day, no matter how complicated everything is, the real job at the end of the day is to hit this month's targets. Right. And basically, and that's what it boils down to. And basically, so that's all about, how can you line up this month to make sure that this month is happening, and then there's no drama really around the month end, that you're maxing out this month's opportunities. And so like that's really important for us. And then the other thing that we have found is benchmarking customers against each other. Because what we found is like maybe there's 20 business drivers, and every dealer and dealer group has its own personality. And so like they would be like incredibly good at some things, and then maybe they haven't really put a focus on something else. So by benchmarking them against their peers across 20 different metrics, then basically we can see like where they may have an opportunity that they may haven't yet looked at. And Liz probably will cover that out a bit more later on.
Okay, fantastic, John. Thank you. So you mentioned all the different departments in the business and the challenge for senior managers and general managers to keep on top of all those aspects. So thinking firstly about vehicle sales, what can dealerships do to be more effective? And what do you think, what does good look like for a dealership? Okay,
so if we start off with new cars, probably the first question is, do I have the right mix of brands in order to, I've got fixed property costs, so do I have enough, the right brands basically that are going to deliver the return on investment for me? The next place then I'll be looking at is customer retention. So getting used car customers into new cars, and then basically getting new car customers turned into another new car before the expiry of their PCP, etc. Really, that's like the foundation of proper new car retailing. So you need to know all the metrics by brand and by dealership, and then basically what gets measured gets done. So really, that's probably the key thing there. From a used car point of view, maybe jumping outside, just like thinking of yourself as a franchised used car operation, right? And basically open it up to being a a proper profit center. So, your costs have gone up. We've established that. So really now, like, how much margin do we need to make, right? So on used cars, that's going to be based on, like, what volume do I need? What deal profit do I need to achieve per unit? And then basically, what's my stock turn? Because stock holding is still expensive, right? And so then the next challenge really in 2025 then is all around the sourcing. Basically, there's still all those missing used cars in the market. So the best source, obviously, is your own trade-ins. So for our good customers, they're getting 75%. They're getting a trade-in on their new and used cars 75% of the time, right? So then, if you're not achieving that, then are you being too fussy, or basically, like, why? Because generally, the trade-ins are the best thing. Then the next thing then is we've developed quite a bit of new tools, like in the last 12 months, to go looking for cars. So basically, where can we see used cars that are underpriced on the marketplace? So for example, the dealer might ring them up and say, see, you've got a car for sale. Do you want to come in and we'll value it for you? You might even sell them a new car or another car, right? And that's good. And then finally, we think everyone kind of needs to drive their volume of used cars. So then we also do like a part exchange listing, and like, what margin can we make out of those? So it may be that some of them need to go to trade quicker, or basically some of those trade cars we actually need to retail and basically make money that way. And then I guess, Liz, there's a bit of F&I stuff as well. You're more of an expert than me on this.
Yeah, so my background is as a group F&I manager within a Vauxhall dealer group. It's been a tough couple of years, definitely. Loss of gap, the loss of gap income, that was a product that was sold, 65, 75% of the time across new and used cars. And also the pressure that I don't think we've seen the full effect of yet from commission disclosure and how that's going to pan out. I can't say there's been a huge change in APRs that I can see, but no doubt as this year progresses, there may well be some discussions about, the levels of commission and what has to be disclosed, and will obviously put pressure onto APRs and what dealer groups are charging out. But likewise for the customer, looking for the best possible value from everything, I think that dealers need to look at what they're buying and offering to customers. Is it the best possible offer in the marketplace? Are they selling, and if it is a good retail offering, can they command a higher retail price, and can they look at the base prices of these products? Things like warranty and, the cosmetic warranty and all these extra products. Some of these are out of scope. So there's a lot of, you've got a bit of not free rein to do what you want, but you're in control of what you want to offer and how you offer it. Keeping things simple in terms of challenging the sales department. I think good looks like, from what I can see on the dealer groups that we're looking after, 1.5 products per sale, and upwards of like individual sales execs having 2 products for sale. So I think that's quite a key metric, and it's easily digestible and easily to explain that, look, if a customer's coming in and buying the car from you, we need to be selling them at least 1 or 2 products a car, and is constantly looking for the missed opportunities in amongst those, and turning those bottom outliers, so the people that are languishing at the bottom of a league table, which would come across as part of our AOE report, is picking those bottom ones up and giving them the assistance they need on a day-to-day basis, with exception reports that will show them a list of cars that they have sold this month that haven't gone out without products. That, look, this is your hit list. These are your customers that you need to be speaking to about buying one of the range of products that we sell, and moving them up from a bottom performance up to a middle. And if you just keep on picking those bottom people up, the whole average improves, and this, all the opportunities get covered off, and you've got confidence that every customer gets treated the same with every offer of a deal,
Absolutely. So that from what you're saying there, Liz, that's a real kind of a training identifier, training aid, so that you can then ensure that the sales team are getting really hot on the opportunities that they should be putting forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can get the suppliers involved in helping, and assisting with those training needs as well. It's making sure that they've got the full suite, so that every customer gets that full experience, and making sure that the products that they're offering. Everybody gets offered them each and every time. We supply even the non-regulated products. It's making sure that if you're offering a suite and a range of things, it's taking that compliance, treating customers fairly across everything that you offer, not just the regulated products.
Absolutely, given the opportunities that they're looking for. And likewise, Liz, in after sales, what opportunities can dealerships find there?
I think John mentioned the benchmarking exercise that we did. Obviously, with the budget increases to staffing costs and stuff, it was at the end of last year, it was a real opportunity for us to show dealer groups where we saw the opportunities being. We took a selection of KPIs like, I'm saying VHC rates, but VHC rate was the one where we saw the biggest opportunity. On average, just over 80% we saw as a VHC check rate against what we would see as a throughput. The best are doing like 99%, 100, nearly every customer going through their workshop. But often when we started delving in, when we had our meetings with these dealer groups, you could see that there was some, I thought we were higher at VHC rate than 80%. And you delve into the figures and you realise what they perceive as a throughput was different to what we could see was a throughput. And they had some policies around where they would deselect certain customers for a check. Like, well, it's easy to do 100% if you're deselecting a lot of the throughputs before you even start. So that's where, we talk about one version of the truth, is that a throughput is a throughput. And if there is a policy in place that every customer should have a VHC check, why should you not check one customer's car over another customer's? Because things change quite quickly with tyre wear or whatever it might be. A throughput is a throughput. And that's where, just moving the needle from 80 to 85%, they're already on the journey where they know these cars need checking. They're good at the upsell work. They're good at the amber work. They're good at identifying it. They're good at upselling it. That job's already been done as part of the VHC system. But the part of the conversation that's being missed is the amount of checks that are going through. They don't need to find any more customers. They just need to apply their own checks to their own customers that they've already got coming through. And, really, it's making sure that through the benchmark, what your throughput is accurate, and making sure that we're benchmarking against the same figure. And that best is really somewhere towards 100% or just short of it. So, yeah. We've also created something called a weekly flash, which is a bite-sized version of the benchmarking, which was kind of done on an annual basis, where we're taking a selection of these KPIs and benchmarking them against their peers against their peers and against where they were last year, which really helps drive on a daily basis, not waiting to the end of the month for, your post-mortem after the figures have come through at the end of the month. But being able to actively influence. And really, it's giving credit to perhaps when you've got dealerships or departments that are bucking the trend against perhaps what we're seeing nationally during the month, or maybe knowing where to push other dealerships where maybe they're seen as a bit behind and off the pace, and having the confidence to say, well, look, this isn't what the market's doing. This isn't what other dealer groups in the RWA benchmarking are seeing, and giving them that nudge to really stretch for that additional and extra performance. And we're all too quick to pick holes and you're behind target, or beat them with. We're not often giving them the carrot either, which is actually, guys, you're back in the trend. You're doing better than everything else that we can see, and it's that positive reinforcement as well as perhaps giving a nudge for the opportunity of the people that are behind the drag curve.
And within dealer groups, everybody loves a league table, don't they? Everybody loves to see how they're performing against other businesses and other teams, and those flash reports will be ideal for that. Yeah, definitely, and those are key business drivers, and these are part of the bigger picture. Everybody within the dealership will see these from the top right down to the sales management level. It's all key information and giving some credibility rather than waiting for conversations at month end, possibly not even month end, possibly 10 days into the following month about what you've done the month before. It's about changing what you can now and having the confidence to push for those extra bits and pieces
when you've got the opportunity to. No point in crying about it afterwards.
Absolutely. There's some great tips there for having a successful 2025. So tell me, Liz, as a business intelligence provider, what else can you do to help your clients direct their focus, understand which aspects will really make a change for their business and where they can win that incremental business?
Yeah, I think the reason why a company such as ourselves actually exists is because it's technical stuff that needs to happen behind the scenes in order to join up the data. They know there's a need for it, but it's too ad hoc, it's not frequent enough, and it's not actionable, and it's not day to day. So I think the key things that we would do we lift the heavy data from the DMSs, from the various VHC systems, from the various showroom systems, and basically give them the time. It's a huge time-saving thing when all they have to do. There's no manual input. They're able to just action these reports day to day. We're the ones with the experience in producing those reports. It gives them the time and the skills and expertise to either go and reprice the cars that are outside policy, or go and have a conversation with the sales exec that's at the bottom of the F&I table, or a dealership. It's just giving everybody that visibility to be able to keep their focus. They're the experts at selling the cars and servicing the cars and selling the bits. We're just giving them the information to point out where those gaps are. And like you say, nobody likes to be at the bottom of a league table. So to be honest, you don't really have to say very much. It gets presented to them and they go off and do their own actions off the back of it. The dealer's success is our success, and our company mission is to help our customers be more successful. We're constantly adjusting and adding to the reports based on what our close working relationships and feedback from our customers on. So as new areas, I know prep's been discussed quite a bit recently, and time taken to prep cars for sale or within the workshops and things. So it's we're in the process of building a report out around that as well. So it's just looking forward and trying to find, what's a problem to one is a problem to many, all of them. So it's working and finding the best. You discuss very holistic approach to it all. We normally take a dealer on as part of a discussion part to help us build a report. We'll then speak to others, and then we formulate a report that then gets shipped out and utilised for the rest of the network. It's all these bite-sized information to just build the bigger picture.
So you're using that customer feedback as you go along to help shape the reports that you're then able to provide.
And we don't have all the answers to what the problems might be. I don't think anybody at the start of 2024 could have suspected that commission disclosure would have come in quite the way it did, and that it was a bit of a caught everybody a bit by surprise. Likewise with the budgets, but we have solutions, and once you've got the data and you've got the numbers behind the scene, joining the dots up actually. The project solution providers can get hold of it, take a look at it, find the trend, and when you're then tracking that trend, it becomes part of the story and how you build it going forward. And I think just picking out 3, 4, 5 key KPIs that you start with at the start of a journey, when you start looking at the data and trying to spot the trend for your own businesses, is key. It's picking those 5 things, working on those things, getting them ingrained. And then once they're established, you move on to the next level. You obviously pick your big ticket items like the VHC check, where we've seen on the benchmarking, anything between £500,000 and over £1 million just by not adjusting what they sell or what they identify, just by doing those number of checks. So that then would probably be number 1 KPI, and then it's just what the other areas. Some are better than others in other areas, and it's just finding out what's important to them.
Yeah, the aspects they should focus on.
Yeah.
John, sorry, do you want to add something to that?
Tim, an interesting observation, probably from my point of view, is like when we started off RWA Automotive, like we thought we were an IT analytics company. And basically it turns out like we are that, but really that's only kind of half the job. Like really what we are is an IT accelerator for better business performance, right? And basically, so people need the information in order to do their job properly. And one of the interesting things we learned was CEOs and directors are kind of frustrated with the different the different versions of the truth, and there, people are collating spreadsheets together. There's as much chat about basically, is this thing right, or all the reasons it's not right, as there is, instead of actually, be focused on actually what are we doing about this, right? And and like we had one customer who was like an outstanding performer, I have to say, kind of in every area, but their one version of the truth wasn't the real version of the truth, and basically they were leaving like probably $750,000 behind, and basically, so like that's the kind of chat we had with them, and about, compared to your peers, this is where the average is like at $750,000 out. And basically, and there's nothing about these guys that's average. These guys are high performers. And basically, so within like a couple of weeks, they have got their people lined up, incentive schemes, and they're going after it. And probably the other thing we learned, and probably learned a good bit from Liz as well, I have to say, is instead of showing them 10 things, really pick 3 things, and the 3 things that matter, and basically solve those in 25 and keep them. And there'll be another 3 things in 2026. And it's all about being on that journey with them. And probably on used cars, what we learned was originally we would say, here's your information that tells you, how you're comparing to Auto Trader, whether you should be up or down in terms of valuation. But then what we found was it made much more sense for us to have a monthly meeting with them to say, this is how we see your data. Basically, does that tie in what you see? And then you might adjust your policy. So those monthly check-ins are really important. And then on sales and after sales, we would have quarterly check-ins once the customer is stable, and monthly until then, in order to make sure that, the stuff that we said that they would do, we might have done a live demo with them and said, we think you've got money in VHC, or we think it's in workshop. Then basically we're staying with them to see, are they executing on where we all collectively agreed there was an opportunity. And I think that's the big thing that kind of, that really needs, that has to happen to be successful.
Absolutely. So it sounds like a very supportive relationship that you have with them to see those changes through.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And that's what it takes.
Fantastic. So I'm conscious we're going to have to wrap up fairly soon, but just to conclude, John, what 3 key points or actions would you say that dealership leaders should be considering to make 2025 as successful as possible?
Okay, I would start. The first thing I would say is after sales. We know electrification is coming in, but in the medium term, there is still plenty of money, right? And Liz mentioned the VHC. In Liz's first 3 months, she's identified, I think, about 10.5 million of opportunity in VHC across our customers. And as we said, that's mostly on what, how many checks they've done, not so much what they identified or sold. Then also on workshop, we identified about 4 million, and basically, all the hours you've been clocked to jobs, you should at least be selling those if you're a volume brand, and close enough to all of those if you're a premium brand. And we find there's, for some customers, there's kind of bunches of millions basically overall left behind in there to go after, and basically that's an area of focus for them. Then on the parts, then probably discounts would probably be the thing to focus on there. So after sales, there's still plenty of money for the next few years, and we've had customers growing their profits by 30%. Still plenty of money. Next place then, I suppose, is used cars, and like I was saying earlier, is kind of moving away from being a franchised used car dealer and moving into being a used car dealer with a franchise, right? And basically maybe retailing, driving your volumes, but then, get stuff through your prep faster, right? Price them correctly to get them out the door. And then the sourcing really is kind of where there should be much more activity really at board level, making sure the sourcing is right, because that's the real challenge. And then the final thing then probably is on F&I. So as Liz was saying there earlier, so more of a level playing field now, I guess, after quite a lot of stuff happening last year. And so as you mentioned, league tables. Everybody loves a league table. But when it comes to like the regulated products, it's all about making sure there isn't much dispersion between the league tables, because any outlier is like a bad idea, like a bad thing, you know. And then basically, so when it comes then to the unregulated products, you know, it like, are people consistently offering their customers like a value add, basically that's like works for everybody.
Absolutely, and that goes back to the classic understanding your customer, understanding what products they're likely to need, either from previous history or just from the answers they're giving you, and that classic kind of sales skill, I guess, that franchise dealerships are so renowned for. Fantastic. I'm conscious we're running out of time, so I think we're going to have to wrap up there. Thanks, John and Liz. Some great insights and suggestions for our dealer viewers. Dealer viewers, thank you for watching, and I hope you've had some useful inspiration from our discussion. Watch out for more AM Supplier Insights in the future, and again, thank you for watching, and goodbye.